Hello, welcome back. In honor of Mercury retrograde, I want to talk today about tension. We know all about the ebbs and flows of life. We know about the seasons that we have in our lives, but I want to focus in on tension specifically. These are the moments in our lives where maybe it feels like everything is just wrong or off or, tense. I've picked up on a really big pattern that whenever I'm gearing up towards a big change in my life, the weeks or the months before just feel so tense, especially when there's so much confusion with what's going on and I know that something needs to change, but I just don't know anything about it yet. Those moments are always so tense. And it easily leads me to feel really frustrated and upset. Like, why is everything in my life suddenly going wrong? Maybe there's tension with your partner or strange interactions that you're having with friends, or there's tension at work, or there's scheduling problems, whatever it may be in your life. It's just kind of a signal. Tension is that signal. Obviously something's not going right, but it's bigger than that. It's deeper than that. And that is what I want to talk about today. The reason that I brought up Mercury retrograde is because it has a reputation for wreaking havoc on our lives. But it's not so much about wreaking havoc. It's more so about creating space that we neglected to create beforehand. As you know, or maybe you don't know, but you know now, we have been in Mercury retrograde for 2 weeks now, I think. So we are on the tail end of Mercury retrograde, and I think I've definitely felt it a lot of tension, a lot of weird interactions that I've had with people, weird interactions that I've had with myself. So Mercury rules communication and transportation. So when it is retrograde, these parts of our lives feel literally backwards. I mean, the planet is moving backwards, and so everything that it rules is going to feel backwards. The power here is that this backwards movement causes us, or sometimes it forces us, to slow down and, retrace our steps. I like to think of it as like a big clean out and just taking inventory of everything that you have, everything that's within you, everything that you've been working on. It's just a really big opportunity to take a look at everything. To be clear, Mercury retrograde is not causing your problems. It is simply uncovering them. You may feel disrupted or out of sorts, but this phenomenon is actually helping to progress you forward and kind of keep you in check. But take this tension as lessons. So during this time, certain aspects may feel very tense. A lot of weird interactions may come up, but take them as they are. Take them as lessons. Take them as reminders of the person that you've become and lessons you have already learned, but maybe you need to be reminded and sort of dust off the cobwebs to that part of your mind. Because it's true, you may have already been through this before, you have already learned the lesson and you've acknowledged it. But if you're not aware of the situation at hand, if you're not, consciously aware of it, sometimes you forget that you know these things and you just kind of need a little reminder. And this will actually help you out in your day-to-day life, because when you get that reminder, you are more aware of it. It's at the forefront of your mind and you're thinking about it. This is where tension comes into play because it's so important. Tension is magic. We need tension, this push and pull. Without tension, we would not exist. We wouldn't need to. Tension can be so good for us if we can seek out its meanings and seek out where it's coming from. If there were never tension in your life, You would never feel the need to move on or move out or leave relationships or fall into new relationships, find new jobs, new passions, fall in and out of love. None of this would happen if there were no tension in our lives. We wouldn't feel pushed to do anything. I've been feeling so much tension lately, and it's been driving me nuts. But I need these reminders in order to push me towards the next stage in my life of where I need to be, not only where I need to be, but where my soul truly wants me to be, this progression that I'm on. I got super comfortable where I was at, and that's dangerous. So tension is the universe's gift to me to make sure that I make the moves necessary to take me to my higher self. When we are constantly provided with comfort and ease, we aren't going to respond to the universe's call to change. Devils and angels work together in order to get us humans to do what we need to on our life path. So I actually heard this from one of my tattoo artists, bless her soul. I was getting this quote and it was all about heaven and hell, and it sparked this tidbit in her. We were just sort of talking about it. She was asking me why I was getting it, and I was telling her. So we're talking about heaven and hell, and we are talking about the concept that heaven and hell are the same. They are both made of love. And she said to me that earth is the only realm where we think devils and angels don't work together. So earth is the only realm where we believe that devils and angels don't work together, but they do. Because if we have these opposing voices in our heads, we don't always listen to the angel. It's just the honest truth. We're not always going to listen to that quote unquote good side of us. Not that either is good or bad. It's just there's these two opposing sides. And sometimes we don't listen to the angel. So the devil comes into play and gets us to play out the situation in a different way, but the ultimate outcome is the same. But we wouldn't be able to get there because we ignore the angel, we ignore that sign. And we kind of need that different level. We need to respond to something on a different frequency, whatever frequency that we are responding to in that moment. So if we're not listening to the angel, then the devil has to work with the angel in order to get us to do essentially the same thing. So anyways, the tension maybe is the devil at play because we ignored the angel, yet it's still going to get us to the same outcome. But this tension is saving us from stagnation. So let's use this small example. Let's say you have worked at a job for a while and you know everyone, you do your job well, and it's easy for you, right? It's the one part of your life that you are just completely comfortable with. You've been there for a while, and then suddenly, or not so suddenly, there's conflict. But it's conflict beyond the normal level of conflict. It's conflict with coworkers, conflict with management, conflict with scheduling, conflict with deadlines. And it's just so conflicting because you have been there for so long and you've been comfortable. And now it feels like you don't even know why you're working this job. And you can barely even think about showing up every single day. Like, showing up is just so difficult. Everything feels tense. And so you begin to look at this job in a new way. And you start wondering why for so long you settled for this and how easily it has just been taken from you. You have no drive anymore. You have no passion to work this job. And you start wondering, like, how for so long did I not see this? And you might be really pissed because, you thought that this was something really good in your life, and now it's just not. But it's because you ignored the call of stagnation. A lot of times, comfort just feels like nothing. So it requires the universe to work in other ways to actually get us to feel something, get us to feel anger, feel frustration, And that is the catalyst to get us moving on. The tension is necessary. It calls us to go beneath, to go deeper, and look at what is really happening. So in that small example, what is really happening there? You're being called by something greater than you for something greater for you. If that makes any sense. You are being called by something greater than you for something greater for you. It's not that everything is suddenly going wrong because you deserve this or you made this trap for yourself. It could just be that you have ignored all of the other signs. You have ignored the signs of comfort. You have ignored the feeling of comfort. And now you're just not pushing yourself at all. You're not pushing yourself in this job, and it's causing you to stop pushing yourself in your life. And so now you're going to feel all that tension sort of pile up, and things at this job aren't going to feel right anymore. Beneath the illusion of the physical realm, how do you really feel? This is what tension asks of us. It asks us to ask ourselves these questions. How do I really feel? How do I feel about this job, about this person, about this home, about this state of being? Tension forces us to ask ourselves questions that in a state of comfort, we would never ask because there's no need to. Because we're comfortable and it's uncomfortable and it's frustrating and it can make you feel really powerless to ask ourselves these questions. But I want to remind you that when tension rises, just savor it for a second. Because this is actually the first sign that you are about to bloom. So just sink into that feeling and get a little bit excited because you are about to bloom. In everything in life, right before the point of release, there is so much tension. Think about sex. Think about childbirth. Think about a wave that's about to break, or the moments before a big storm. The tension of a camera shutter. Think of starting a fire, or think about a plant about to blossom. Think about sexual tension between you and someone you just met that you really click with. All of that heightened energy before a first kiss, all of these moments in life are all accumulation of surges of energy and then a beautiful release. It's no coincidence. There is so much happening that we can't see. So yes, an air of caution during these final weeks of Mercury retrograde, but also a reminder that we are approaching a season of release. And it's really great timing too, because the seasons are about to change and we are progressing forward. Our internal leaves are changing color, so to speak, and we are shedding. So let this be a small reminder to you to let the tension work for you and get really excited for the release that comes after it. Just let it work for you. Let it move through you. Help the catalyst. Instead of acting against it, move with it. Accept the fact that there is going to be tension and move with it. This is a really powerful time energetically, and I'm excited for all of us. So let's breathe into the tension and let it work for us in all of the infinite ways that it is meant to. So take a deep breath in and exhale. Free the breath, and the breath sets you free. Thank you so much for being here. I love you.